Hello everyone. Okay, so I'm back as promised with a video on what I advertised on my Facebook as the secret that was not revealed. Everybody knows the book The Secret, right? Well, a lot of people have read that book and they learned about the law of attraction and all that good stuff. They learned about all the universal laws and they learned about this and they learned about that. But that system is still not the entire story. Okay? So what I'm going to get into is, the entire story. The entire story is, or the part that was missing is the secret that they're not going to tell you, or they don't know, or if they do know, they're going to give you this and work on that end. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so The Secret is great and it works. The law of attraction works, but there's a higher method that even controls the law of attraction, and I'm gonna explain that to you. And a lot of people are asking me, well, what books are you reading this in? I'm not reading this in books. It is what is hidden between the lines. It is what is hidden in the message itself. It is the dark side of the light. It is the mirror reflection. It is the shadow. Okay, when you focus on something, you fail to see what is encompassing it, what is holding it in place. You just see the object. Okay, you don't see the air and the molecules in the air around it. You don't see what's actually holding it in place. Okay, you can't see gravity. You can't see any of this. This is what I'm speaking of when I say the secret. Okay, so everyone, I don't know if you've seen my videos on dark energy and dark matter. Well, dark energy and dark matter have a lot to do with this hidden thing, okay? And I'm also going to be talking about the law of rhythm. If you don't know what the law of rhythm is, it is, what goes up must come down. Have a good day one day, you're going to have a bad day. Not every day is a sunny day. It's going to rain one day. It's like when you're high, you're high. When you're low, you're low. The law of rhythm is one of the ways that you can really work with controlling your own ups and downs in life. Now, when I work with what I call dark energy, it's just energy that's unseen. Let's just say unseen energy. Energy that's not really focused on. Energy that's, void. The hidden, okay? When I work with the law of rhythm, I use that to work with dark energy. Let's just say, for example, you are making a lot of money. Things are coming in. Your abundance, all your hard work's paying off. You're getting all this money, and you're like, oh my God, I'm rolling in it. I'm gonna go shopping. I'm gonna go on trips. I'm gonna go do this. I'm going to go do that, because you know what? I'm balling now, and it's just gonna keep flowing in, right? As long as I keep thinking positive, it's gonna flow in. It's gonna flow in. Nothing can stop me. But in reality, the law of rhythm means that although you're getting all this abundance, eventually the pendulum has to swing the opposite direction. Because if it's too far here, it's going to have to come back here. So, you might lose your job. You might not get as much business. Your income's going to decrease, or you're not going to be able to spend money like you used to. Something's going to pop up to suck up your money. So, knowing the law of rhythm, when you have all this abundance, it is important to, put some away, save it, because by law that eventually the pendulum is going to swing back. The law of rhythm, the pendulum is going to swing back, and you're going to encounter the opposite of what you're encountering now. So in order, how some people control this from the pendulum swinging so far to the left and so far to the right, they create the swing. Now, when I say they create the swing, I mean they take the pendulum into their own hand and they create their own downfall on purpose so that they are keeping the law of rhythm in balance. But this time it's in their control, not in the universe control, or whenever it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It has become in their control because they said, okay, you know what? I am just balling out. And I'm putting these in layman terms so you can understand, because I could totally go scientific on you and you're going to be like, huh? So I'm going in layman's terms. So you could be balling out, shopping, buying a new car. And if you're aware of this law of rhythm, you're going to be like, you know what? I know by the law of rhythm, this is not going to stay this way because it is the law. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a counter situation. I'm going to sacrifice something so that I can control my downswing, my downfall, the pendulum going the other way. I'm going to create something to make the pendulum go the other way, because if I can control it, then I can also control my upswing back to the, living abundant. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go gamble. Or I'm going to make a bet to somebody. I'm going to lose about $50, $20, however much you can afford, So when you have all this upswing, good luck, good money, abundance flow, you got to create the swing. Not too far, just a little bit. That way, when you swing back a little bit. And it's not going to be constantly all this and then less of that. So you say, okay, I'm going to go gamble. I'm going to go lose a bet on purpose. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. So you lose your little $50. So now the pendulum starts swinging this way. And then you say, you know what? Now I'm going to go invest in something I know is going to make money. But I'm not going to put too much money in. I'm just going to invest a little bit. And then so the pendulum swings this way. And you say, and you keep doing. It's like, I'm going to take a chance on, I'm going to give money to a homeless person. I'm going to spend more money than I usually do. Or I'm going to, give money away as a gift. Or, I'm going to sacrifice, an opportunity that can earn me about $100. So it's going to swing this way, and it's in your control at that point. So you don't have any surprises. It's like you're dangling the pendulum now. You're not looking at it. Now you're controlling it. Okay? So that's the law of rhythm, and that's how you use your dark energy to control the law of rhythm. Because you can control the law of rhythm if you know how to use it, if you rise above it instead of living by the law of rhythm, be the law of rhythm. Be the cause, not the effect. Like right now, a lot of people are living as the effect of what happens instead of being the cause. So it's taking the power in your own hand. That's the part of the secret that they don't tell you, is that even though you're attracting something, I'm attracting money, they don't tell you you can think as positive as you want, but eventually it's going to swing back the opposite way. So in order to counteract that, you have to create a situation so that you can control the swing. A lot of celebrities do this. I told y'all in one of my other videos, a lot of celebrities do things to create bad press about them so that like this huge story isn't dropped on them, or they're not exposed in a huge way. So they put themselves out there, this and that about that person. But they did this good. But they didn't do this. They didn't give money to this cause. But they did this. They control that. So instead of being a victim of the media, really knowledgeable celebrities create this up and down swing in their career on purpose. Because if you have too much up and too much down, eventually you get pushed out because it's too much. So you start to control it. Okay, so now I'm going to go into something more deep. Okay, so, and a lot of this information is reading between the lines. Like, it's like darkness. It's what's unseen, you know. And you know, Will Smith's kids, you know, Jaden and his sister, they were talking about, you know, oh, I know how to speed up time or slow time down and this and that. Well, I wanted to touch on that because that's using dark energy. Try this experiment because I want to show you, okay? Try this experiment. Get your phone or whatever you use to record yourself with an image, video record, and say a sentence and then pause. Say the alphabet in your mind. Don't say it out loud. Say the alphabet in your mind at a reasonable rate, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Say it in your mind and then finish your sentence. Okay, then go back and watch the video. When you watch the video and you are watching that long pause, it's going to seem faster on the video than it did in your mind. Because in your mind, time does not exist and it's actually slower or faster depending on the situation. It's just like when you get like in a car accident, how everything slows down in slow motion and you can see every detail and then your life flashes before your eyes. But in reality, this is happening in like less than a second. So mentally, you are able to slow down and speed things up in your mind. And everyone knows one of the laws, universal law, is the law of mentalism. All is mental. So it's like, if you're in a situation and you need some time to think mentally by using dark energy, you can actually slow down time with your mind. You know, it's like this is you have to use visualization. Okay, you have to close your eyes, and you have to be like, it's a good thing to like just be in total darkness. But if you can't, just close your eyes. Imagine that you are the darkness of the universe, that black stuff that you look up and see in the sky, and that you control the gravity around the planets and the sun, and that you're going to squeeze or you're going to do whatever you need to do to slow that down for a sec. Okay, it's visualization. It's becoming part of the dark energy and the dark matter, and using that feeling, that vibration, to actually slow down and speed up. Because all is mental. If you believe that you have slowed down the earth or the sun and that time has slowed down, if you really believe in time, then your time will actually slow down. You know how sometimes you're having so much fun and time flies because you're not focused on it. And then when you're waiting on something, time is like forever because you're focused on it. When you deny the existence of time, when you forget about it, when you know that it doesn't exist and it's an illusion, you can control it in this reality. Okay, I know that's kind of out there, but it's the same thing. Okay, and also, you know how those pictures, you know, it's what's not seen. You're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at the illusion and saying, okay, prove yourself, illusion, and the illusion will prove itself over and over. Because it's an illusion. You're not looking into the void or the darkness and saying prove yourself, because you can't see anything. It doesn't have to prove itself, okay? And when I say it doesn't have to prove itself, I mean it's what's not seen that is what you're actually looking for. It's just like, I'll give you an example. We're in Mercury retrograde, right? Everybody thinks Mercury is spinning backwards, and everybody thinks it's bad, this and that. But in reality, Mercury is not spinning backwards. It is an illusion. And it's slowed down just a little bit, and it's created the illusion that it's spinning backwards because the other planets are spinning so fast. It's like, you know, when you stop at a red light in a car, and you're stopped, and another car comes next to you and it's it's inching up really slow, and you think your car's moving backwards because that car's going so slow, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going backwards, and you slam on the brakes. But in reality, it was an illusion. That car was just going forward really slow. So in Hermes, which is Mercury, the god of trickery, it was said that when he was born, he stole some cows and cow skins or something, and made some shoes that looked like the cows were walking backwards. So he like reversed his shoes to make the cows look like they were walking backwards, so that no one could follow him. It is what is hidden and not revealed. It is a trick. So whenever you're, trying to prove something or create something or do something, you have to look around it, and the space around it. You have to use the space around it in order to control it. Okay, you have to become the cause and not the effect. Okay, and I'll give you another example. Okay, you know how like when you're on Facebook or when you're online and you scroll through and you see those pictures, and it has like a little red dot on it. It says stare at this red dot, and it has like some weird lines around. It says stare at this red dot for 30 seconds and then close your eyes, and you'll see an image, like a color image or of a face or something. That's the same thing. When you're focusing on that red dot and not the lines around it, you're actually absorbing and looking at the space around it, because you're not focused on the lines. You're not focused on the object. And then when you close your eyes, then you see the space that creates the photo or the picture. So it's like you're not focusing. And when you're not focusing, you can see it's just like those magic eye images. You have to kind of go like into it. You can't just look at it like this. You have to go into a daze to see the picture, Okay, also, like this dark energy, you have to use visualization in order to use it. It's not the law of attraction. It is actually skipping that. It's like, you know what? I need this. So I'm going to become the universe myself. Sorry, there was a gnat. I'm going to come the universe myself and put it in motion. Okay. Instead of asking the universe, being the effect of attracting something, you already have allowed it to start motion. And this is weird because if y'all follow me on Facebook, a couple of maybe less than a month ago, I wrote a status saying that I was astral traveling, or I had a dream and I was astral traveling to where my dad used to live in New Jersey, and I was seeing all these houses. They looked new and freshly painted and remodeled. But when I went, when I was a kid, it didn't look like that. It was a little bit, torn up. Not bad, but just it didn't look as fresh and new. It wasn't remodeled. And so when in my actual travel, everything was new and painted and just, clear and bright. And I was like, oh my God, I recognize the place, but it's different. I wonder why. I wonder why I'm dreaming this and da 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 da. And I dreamt of, or I astral traveled, and I saw, people, and they knew me, and like I was their family, but I didn't recognize them. And I hadn't seen my dad or talked to my dad since I was young. And so recently, I was like, after that, I was like, you know what? I really want to find my dad, see how he's doing, because I haven't heard from him in a while. I don't know anything about him, in the last 10, 15 years. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. It's going to happen. Eventually, the news will come to me, or I will figure out a way to find him, but it's going to come at the right time. Okay? I didn't ask. I didn't manifest. I just said, this is it. And this, Today, right before I made this video, someone friended me on Facebook, and I'm like, who is this? Because they had my last name. I'm like, I don't know you. Are we family? And he's my cousin, all the way from New Jersey, and he resembles like one of the type of person that I saw in my astral travel or whatever, and he lives there in Elizabeth, New Jersey, where I astral travel to. And he got me in touch. He gave me my dad's information. He got me in touch with my dad. I haven't actually talked to him yet because this just happened, but he gave me all the information and Facebook and all that good stuff. And I was like, yeah, that happened at the right time. You know, Mercury retrograde is like, you know, a time to slow down and look for what's hidden, catch up on things that you've already put in motion, and check up on them. Like, you know, what is this happening? Is this going through? Is this working? Am I, you know? And it came, and I wasn't thinking about it. I hadn't been manifesting it. I hadn't lit no candles for it. I'm just, you know, I already said when the right time it's gonna come, and you know, that blah 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 blah. I have no doubts about it. I allowed it. You know, I already knew because, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. That's how it happens. When you start tapping into that dark energy, there's no coincidences anymore. You automatically know when something happens that was because you put it in motion. Okay? And let me see. I made some notes, but I really don't think these are... Okay, what? Oh, okay. So if y'all have seen that movie Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., he uses dark energy. Like when he goes off into those visions and dazes, or when he closes his eyes and predicts what's going to happen, and then it happens that same way, so he knows what to do, like when he fights, just like Neo did in the Matrix when he, you know, was fighting the agent. This is seeing using dark energy. It's speeding up time and space so that you can see what's happening in the future, like in the near future. A lot of times magicians, like stage magicians, they use that as well to predict certain things with their audience. It's some of the times it's rigged, some of the times it's not. They're mentalist. And when you get really good at astral traveling, when you can go in and out, when you know what you're doing, then you can actually escape what they call the matrix. You can say, you know what, I've astral traveled through this matrix. I live in this matrix. Now I want to become this dark energy. I want to be hidden. I want to black out. That's what they call it, black out. And when you black out, you're actually, that's when you become the darkness of the universe mentally. That's when you close your eyes and visualize and imagine that you are that darkness and that stuff that's holding this entire thing in place. And you become the creator of what you want. You don't ask anymore. It is just, this is how it's going to be. Bam, I put it in motion through the creation energy, through the dark energy in the universe. And now you come back, open your eyes, and you just wait. Okay? It's not the law of attraction anymore. It is going above that. It is becoming the grantor. It is becoming the actual vibration that sends you what you want. Okay? It's basically like skipping the middleman. You're cutting the middleman out, and you are the owner. You are... You are... And that's another thing with dark energy, lightning and thunder. You know, and I'll get into that another day. But you become the grantor. You don't call on spirits anymore. You don't, you know, worship any deities anymore. You become the darkness that all things have come from. You become the creator. And when people die, you know, a lot of people want to come back and reincarnate and work on the planet or stay in the spirit world and guide people and all that kind of stuff. Because the spirit world is still the matrix too. And then there's some people that want to become the darkness and the blackness and the dark matter and the dark energy of the universe. They want to become source. And so they black out and they go back into the darkness. And when they feel like it, Because if you read the Emerald Tablets, even Thoth explains this. When you feel like it, you create yourself again and you go back. But there's some people who's trapped in it who don't know how to get out and rest and absorb, go in and out at will. They're still trapped in the matrix, you know. But the only way to be able to do this is so easy. And it's like the simplest thing in the world. A child can do it. A child. You have to close your eyes in the darkness and become that darkness. Feel that you are not, like, your body's gone. You don't have a body. Your body's disappeared. Now you're this darkness. You're this dark consciousness. And just like in the Bible, it says, let there be this, let there be that. And I saw that it was good. So it's basically like you're becoming the creator source to get what you want. And then you come back and you experience life through this vessel. And you know that what you've created as God or the universe is coming to you because you're in and out. A lot of people say that believe in God or the source. A lot of people say that we are all the different manifestations of God or the universe. And we're just experiencing this particular perspective. And then, like, when we die, either we come back and experience a different perspective or we go back into the source, depending on our level of knowledge on how to use this hidden secret. And a lot of people won't tell you this. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, use the law of attraction, vibrate on a high level, become a light body, love and light and all this stuff. And light is just the illusion, and it's not what is creating. The light does not create. As soon as you're born into this false light, into this false reality, you start dying. You get older, you age, you know, your cells die, your brain cells die. So this is not actually even life. This is dying. This is dying. This is like when a star comes and starts dying. You know, it doesn't die all at once and just poofs into nothing. It starts getting dimmer and dimmer, and then it expands and it does all that stuff. But it's dying. It's not forever. It's not eternal. When you come that dark matter and that dark energy, you are eternal. Therefore, you can control time, space, anything that is limited in this world, you then have control over. So remember, you know how it said you're born into sin, which is false, which is in the Bible it says you're born into sin. Sin means without. Sin means moon. Sin means a lot of different things, according, depending on how you look at the etymology of it. So, and the moon is false light reflection of the sun, the god of the moon, the goddess of the moon, whatever, however you want to say it. You're born into sin, you're born into a lie, you're born into false reality. When you're in your mother's womb, you're still in darkness, your eyes are closed, you're connected still to that dark matter and that dark energy. When you come out into the light, your eyes are still closed. You have to focus. Your eyes have to focus. You have to get acquainted with this false reality. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to do this. But meanwhile, you're dying. You're not growing, eternally. But your spirit, your soul, your essence is. And when you figure out how to use the dark matter and the dark energy of the universe instead of being a recipient of it, you are the supplier as well. It's kind of like, you own the factory. You are the factory. You are the manufacturer. You are not the person ordering online, okay? Law of attraction is ordering online, okay? Working with dark energy is being the manufacturer and supplier of the materials, okay? I hope this helped you. I wanted it to be deeper, but it's not coming out that way. I'm going to do another video because there is so much to say. I don't want to make this into a super long video. So I hope that you got something out of that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to put it in the next video. Okay? I'll give y'all some time, maybe a day, or maybe I'll just go ahead and make part 2, and if something else comes to me, and we'll just leave it at that. And just to make y'all laugh, when I was talking about the law of rhythm, and I was like, you know, one day you're going to have a wonderful, beautiful, abundant day, and then the next, you know, swing comes back, it's going to be all bad. And I think that's what happened to my hair, y'all. I had a good hair week last week, and now I'm looking like, what happened, you know? But I accept it because I know that some good hair days are in my future. Okay? All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.